because Forest have caused City problems, but so far, just about so good. Nottingham Forest 0, City 1 at half-time. Well, let's go back to the studio and we can hear the thoughts of Keith Curle, of Andy Morrison and Natalie.
Thank you to Alistair Mann and to Kit Simons for the first half commentary. So City lead Forest 1-0. I'm still joined by Keith and by Andy. And as Ali said there, at the end of that first half, the Forest fans very much clapping their team off the pitch. Forest with some really good opportunities in that first half that have gone over, have gone wide. City perhaps lucky going in at half-time with the 1-0 lead, but do you know what? I'll take it. I will take it all. Andy, how are you assessing that first 45 minutes?
Well, the key moment, obviously, the Gvardiol goal. Apart from that, there's been nothing in the game. Forest have been very good, very dangerous, just jumping from the wing-back positions. And it's hard to stop that because the energy on the turnover of possession, you know, and they're also leaving because they're playing a 3. They're also leaving if they do break down, they've still got a chance to recover where normally, you know, in a back 4 you might feel as though if you go too early you leave yourself vulnerable, but no, they've been impressive, and Forest, you know, they'll be disappointed to be going in at 1-0 down because they've probably done enough to be at least drawing the game.
So let's talk about that goal. So it came for that man, Josko Gvardiol. My goodness. So he has now scored 3 goals in his last 5 appearances. That's after not scoring any in his first 32. So the he's on form. He's on form. 3 goals in April as well for him. I feel like there is so many talking points from that goal. But let's start off with the sort of City positive side of it, Keith. So City scoring from a corner as well, which is always a delight. In terms of Josko Gvardiol, talk us through how good that header was.
I think a lot of it is the setup, first of all. Obviously the delivery, and then it's about the timing and the determination of everybody's movement and their run and where they have to end. Because you'll have a starting position, like Kevin as it was there, will have the set piece delivery, and on his mark, then the people attacking the ball in the box, they've got to just hit their mark. So if the ball goes somewhere else, it's somebody else's ball to attack, but you've got to hit your mark, and that's what Guardiola did excellently well. And then it's about controlling the direction of the contact, which was spot on. Great delivery, great timing, good aggression, and then good technique.
When we saw it back again, I couldn't believe the sort of angle of it, because he was kind of to the side and past the goal, and he still managed to sort of technically. How difficult is that header in that direction?
Well, it's just being aware of where you are on the pitch and aware of the contact that you need. The ball's up. The thing is, it's not a floated ball in; it's a ball that's whipped in with pace, and all you need to do is just change the direction. And again, you know, like you're 2-3 yards out from goal, no goalkeeper's going to stop that unless it hits them. So it's just making contact and glancing it, because like I say, he'll know he's gone past the near post. That's probably part of his movement, is to get past the near post. So if the ball doesn't go to him, he's taking somebody out of the middle of the goal anyway. So the ball goes over him, then the next person would have been attacking the space in behind him as well. So, but no, it's a good goal. From Forest's point of view, they'll be disappointed.
Yeah, from a City point of view, it was a great goal, greatly worked set piece there. Immediately after the goal, though, Andy, you jumped up and you were pointing something out to us. Could you talk to us about the defensive side from Forest? What did you spot?
Well, there's so much detail now, you know, because you know you're defending with all 11 players, keeper and 10 players in the box. You know, the days of leaving a couple up the pitch, because such is the understanding of the opposition and how they'll play. You'll exploit that and you expose it if they leave themselves vulnerable. And you know. Gibbs White has got a job to do, and his job is just to stifle the movement. And you know, when I'm doing set plays, it's always like there's a 3-step rule that the player cannot get to the 3rd step without having to change direction or block. And if we look at it again, Gvardiol will have 1, 2, 3, 4, and he jumps on the 5th. So you can't get to the 3rd without somebody blocking you, which then it just kills the momentum, and he would never have got there. And Gibbs White is just really passive and poor. And you know, you're looking at all the dangers that are in the box, and is Gvardiol one of the ones they would have said he's a key player on it? I'm not so sure. But if we were to see it again, you'll see the actual steps he takes to get there. And as Keith was right in saying, it's just a glance then, just a minimal touch, and the keeper could never react to it that quick. But it's just really, if you look where Gibbs White is, he's 10 yards off, and his role was to stop him. And that detail, when I thought Forest were so good in all areas of the game, and you try and legislate for everything as a manager or the set play coach, and then one of your players just switches off, and one of your key players as well in possession of the ball has cost you, that position there, and that's going to be difficult for them now to make that up.
It's been an issue that Forest have had all season, actually, Andy. They've conceded 23 goals this season from set pieces. It's the second worst in the league, only behind Sheffield United, who have also conceded 23 from set pieces. We know that just before the set piece, Nico Williams had gone off injured. So he'd just gone off. He was walking round. They hadn't had a chance to make a substitution yet. Do you think we saw a shot pan to him, and he was on this walking down, sort of looking angry. Do you think that possibly zonally or anything, was he? Well,
we don't know what his role was in that, but listen, you're a soldier. Come on. Come on, just stand.
Just putting a text out now saying it's unfair.
just stand in that front hole, or just stand in the box until the next phase of play. We can get somebody on for it, because I'm not sure how they would have set up, so we don't know the finer detail. But an extra body in there could have blocked off.
Worst case, you leave the furthest man away, don't you?
Possibly,
if you're a man down, then you all shuffle over one, and you leave the furthest man away from your goal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 23 goals conceded from set pieces from Forest this season. They did, though, have a couple of really good chances. So there was a Wood opportunity where the ball whizzed across the goal, and he almost had an open net from the position of City, where, gosh, I'm sure he's going to be kicking himself on that one, Keith.
Yeah, I think Forest had 3 chances that were 3 warnings. I think within the first minute of the game, when the lads cut back and put the ball in far post, and I think Williams was it who just miskicked his right, but you're thinking that's an opportunity. Then he's had the header, and you're thinking you can't give Woodsy too many opportunities to get in front of his defender, because he will go over the top of you, get in front of you. He's a big, strong, physical lad, and the ball at the time, it was just slightly behind him, but you're thinking that he's made his name in his career and backed his career on making contact and hitting the target from those sort of crosses. And then, like I say, the other one, I think I don't know if he's turning around celebrating because he thinks he's going to get the goal straight away, whether he didn't think the ball was going to come to him that quick, but I think he's a centre forward that's made his name more by his heading prowess than his neatness with being able to control his feet.
Murillo, who came on for Nico Williams, had a chance right at the end there as well. It was a bit of a scramble, Andy, but right at the end, it sort of clipped off either the crossbar or the post. I forget. There was so many heads in there. It clipped off the crossbar as well. So they've really had their chances in that half.
Yeah, and they will, and the manager will be in there now, trying to focus on the positives, but he'll be having half an eye on Gibbs White for switching off, but he won't want to talk about that maybe after the game. It'll be positive, trying to be as positive as he possibly can, and saying if we keep doing what we're doing, we will create chances, and we just got to be a bit more sharper, clinical in the box, because they have caused us problems. There's been overloads in certain situations, and it is the ability. I'm not saying we struggle against the 5, but it always nullifies your wide men because they're man marked literally. And then when I've watched City over the last year, the 2 10s become so important then, because against that 3, if you can find that space, how quick can one of the 2 centre halves jump out to you if you don't get on the half turn? But I've been really impressed with them. I didn't expect them to be as dangerous as what they were, and we spoke about it before the game. There's a real energy in the stadium, which I think they're feeding off, and they're really positive. And City have got to start really sharp in the second half.
We don't know anything for definite, but we do know that Kovacic is currently warming up on the pitch. If there is a substitution, obviously, Ali Man will let you know straight away in the second half. But given Kovacic is out there, let's make a half guess that maybe he's coming on, Keith. Yeah. If he is, who do you think it's for and why?
Who do I think it would be for? I think it'd be for Doku. Because and I think we're wide open and expansive, playing against them, trying to force them back. But I think then we're losing what Kyle Walker adds going forward, exploiting space and seeing space that he can go and attack. And then we're losing that extra body and that extra pass in midfield. The one that could be the link player going forward, but also then can be a pivotal point for countering the counter-attack as well, having another body in there rather than being outside of the game.
Is what Keith said there, does that fit into exactly what you said a minute ago in terms of the way that Forest is set up and how City can try and, in terms of the central and the way that we try and control it?
Yeah, I mean, we don't know. We don't know. We are second guessing. I would think maybe Doku as well, and maybe Bernardo to drift out that way. But then Ayana is explosive. My only concern there would be running off the back of Bernardo. Bernardo, he's very intelligent, and whenever he plays that role, he always plays 10 yards off, where Doku is actually up against him, trying to get in behind, where Bernardo kind of waits for you to come onto him. So we'll see. And
so Kovacic is warming up, and also Stefan Ortega is on the pitch currently warming up. Now, in the first half, early in the first half, Ederson had a clash with Bonnie. Well, Bonnie clashed into Ederson, can we just say? And he had some treatment on the pitch, but he carried on. Stefan Ortega, though, is now warming up. Stefan Ortega, I think, has been great this season when he's had the opportunity in the cup, and also at the times when Ederson was injured recently. So no worry there, Keith. No worry.
No, not at all. Again, that might just be a thing of just in case the goalkeeper's taking a knock, go and get your eye in now, go and have a good warm up so that if needed you're on. I think just touching back that on set pieces, both teams are attacking that near post area, and Forest had 2 men on Ederson, and we were talking to Andy about it. He said, so if you say put a defender in there to get one of them away from him, then all you're doing, you're creating another body in there. Good delivery men in and around the goalkeeper. It ruffles them.
Thank you for sending in your WhatsApp questions as well. Really appreciate you always sending them in. I'm going to ask one that's been sent in by Sarah because it's kind of relevant to what we've just been talking about. Sarah wants to know, how influential has Kovacic been in his recent starts for City? Yeah,
definitely. I mean, listen, you look at his pedigree, and you look what he's won in the game. And every time he plays, he brings something slightly different. Whereas Rodri keeps moving the ball continually, Kovacic kind of carries the ball past the press. And I've seen him many times where he's actually looked as if you think he's going to play a square pass, and he uses it as a disguise and turns and he breaks forward 10, 15 yards and changes the picture very quickly. Where Rodri tends to keep the ball moving, and there's definitely a different dimension that he brings when he plays.
I'm a big fan of Kovacic. I say that quite a lot on this programme. Big fan of him. Another question that's coming from Matthew, which is interesting. So Matthew is sad to see that there's no Phil Foden today. Without Phil Foden, who do you think is our most important player for today?
Again, I go back to the locksmith, Kevin De Bruyne. He hasn't had a lot of dominant possession of the ball in the final third, and that might be by bringing Kovacic on to have him, Rodri, find that extra pass to give Kevin that time to get into and work into areas that he knows he can be effective.
Absolutely. Thank you for sending in your WhatsApp questions. Do always keep them coming in. I'll get through as many as I possibly can. Noel Gallagher is at Nottingham Forest today. I like to call him Big Game Noel. Big Game Noel. Our Noelie's there. I love how we've managed to spot him, by the way. That is incredible camera work that they've managed to just sort of pick him out there. And there's that man. This man is currently saying, I love you so much. Your music's been amazing. Can I please have a selfie with you? And then he's saying, no, please, I'm just trying to sit here and watch the game. There he is. But Noel Gallagher is there, and hopefully Noel Gallagher will be witnessing a Manchester City victory today. Are you sticking with your 4-0 prediction?
Yeah, next goal's vitally important. If you get it, if we get it early part of the second half, then Forest they've got to get on the front foot and try and get something out of the game, which will leave bigger gaps.
Are you sticking with 3-1?
Yeah. I'll take a 1-0 now. I really will. We'll take that. We'll sign for it off and take it. But no, I think Pep will have seen some things there in the first half that he knows they can improve on massively, because the play broke down too often and we did get exposed a little bit.
I take 1-0, Andy, but I've still got no nails left after that Real Madrid game. I really will be down to the skin if it ends up 1-0 today. So back over now for full match commentary on the Manchester City app if you're not currently watching on there. We'll all be back at full time where hopefully we're talking about a Manchester City victory, whatever the score. Your commentary now will be with Alistair Mann and with Kit Simons. And if there is any changes, they will let you know. Enjoy the second half, please.
Thank you, Natalie. A double change for City at half-time. One I think we were kind of expecting, in as much as City were having problems in the wing-back area. So Doku is coming off and Mateo Kovacic is coming on. We imagine, therefore, Bernardo Silva will go out wide. And, of course, Bernardo Silva is so much more